and you have to transfer the posting document. Okay, so these are typical steps we follow. So I will show you in the system in the on-premise also. Once the posting is, suppose if you like to release, there is a separate transaction code. So are you aware of this PCP0 transaction code?
Yeah, I think I haven't used it, but I know it. I know it's there. Yeah.
So PCP0 transaction is used to release your document and you're transferring those specific document. I think when the system got disconnected, let me log in again.
Oh, okay.
So PCP0 is a transaction where exactly you can see your document detail and you can release the document there, and finally it will be posted in a finance system.
So when you run, that's when you first of all run it, is it?
No, actually, I'll show you that. I will explain you. So once your finance posting, the live posting is done, okay, so then it will generate a particular document. To release that document, you have to go to the transaction PCP0. Okay. So, but that doesn't require in EC payroll, you do not require to go to this transaction because it is also controlled by payroll control center. Automatically it will run. So now you can see there are a lot of documents are pending here. So you can see there are some incorrect documents, there are documents created for some of the reason. Okay. So whenever you are seeing any incorrect document, that you do not have to post it. Okay. Only thing is the documents which are successfully created. Okay. Suppose this document has been already created. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I have to just select this document and I have to, I don't see that on release options. Let's see where it is. Yeah. So you can see there is an option called post document. Okay. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So here exactly we have to go and post that particular document. Okay. So here it is giving some error because of obvious reason. There's something configuration might be missing. So posting run PP, this cannot be posted, incorrect status. So why it is giving an error, that you can see the details. Okay. Like runs can be reposted if they have only one of the following status, like all documents released, documents transfer has failed, documents transfer. So you can diagnose in this way. Okay, suppose if it is not released, you have to see whether how to release it. I'm not getting that options here. Yeah, post documents. This UI is little tricky as I am doing for the first time. This new UI,
yeah.
I'm not finding those buttons. Otherwise, there is a release options are there. List, print, export, edit, delete, run. You can also delete. Like suppose if you have done some mistake, you can delete or you can reverse the posting. Okay, by going to this option. There's a reversal option also. Suppose you like, if you like to reverse that document, you can do that. Okay, so post document delete option. Where is that option? Sort an option. Print options, print documents, search options. It's surprising. I'm not getting. Status, save layout, local file, set filter, creating reception, this letter, this document. Okay, sorry. Actually, I have to go inside that. I have to go inside. This document has been created. Then I think here I'll be getting an option as your. Yeah. So you can see this edit option here. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you go to edit option, this release document means, so once your posting is done, okay, document has been created successfully without any error. Okay. So you have to release this document. That means from HR side, you have already released the document. Now it is on the way to finance. Okay. So you have released it from the HR side. So now you can see, do you want to release this document for posting? Yes. So now it is done. So what I can do after this is released, I have to go back again to the main system. 5805, right? 5805. Let me search 5805. Why I can't find it? I think it is in the next page or something. Otherwise, the process remains the same. Like once you have released this, that should be appearing here in this particular stage. Okay. Then the next step is what you are going to do. You have to just click it and you have to just edit and you have to post. Okay. So that is the final step. Once you have posted it, then that is posted to finance. So after that, you have to go to this FB03 transaction, which is a finance transaction. Your finance people, they may be asking the document number. So here the document number which I have told you, 5805 or whatever document. Okay. So they can, depending upon the company code and all, they will be able to see that in the specific company code or fiscal year depending upon the scenario. Okay. So here I'm just putting a random number. It is not required for us, but just for your understanding, I'm telling. Okay. So you can go and see. This is the programming for them. This is actually, I'm not aware of all these programs, but you can execute still, and you can find it out what are the different documents falling under this particular ledger. Okay. So those document type you can select whether it is which kind of document. Okay. So the document type can be bank statement depending upon GL account type. Okay. So they're all finance related jargons. Okay. So you can always, your work stops here whenever you are completing that, releasing the document. Then remaining activity will be done by the finance part. So they will be doing all this activity. If anything error, they will be again coming back to you. Suppose then you may have to reverse the statement, reverse the posting if it is required, or delete the old result and you have to create once again. So this is a typical process we follow from a finance posting point of view. Okay. So this is one criteria. Like suppose this is on-premise payroll and you are doing all this posting. If you are in the same system you are doing, there can be another scenario which I will be explaining next 10-15 minutes. Okay. So there can be a scenario like which I have worked in last project. This scenario I came across. So what happens in a, suppose your finance system is not in the same system. It is in a S4 HANA. Okay. Because you know this EC payroll is actually, it is not a HANA based system. S4 HANA is not there. It is a purely your enhancement pack 7 or 8. It is HR renewal system, and at present EC payroll is not present in any of the HANA system. Okay. So it is a GUI based on-premise system only. So whenever you are doing this kind of activities, okay, so your finance posting is, these are two different systems. Okay, like your finance system and your means two different box altogether. So for that reason, we need help of an RFC or ALE. Okay, all those application link enabling those configuration is required. Okay, so how to do those kind of scenarios, how you'll be configuring. Okay, I will just explain now. So you understood the scenario, right? So at present, whatever we have discussed, that is in the same system. Suppose your HR and finance in the same box, if it is present, okay, then you have to follow that approach. Okay, same thing is applicable here also. Whenever you are having a different system, but there is an additional configuration. You require an help of an ALE, application link enabling, or the RFC connection between your S4 HANA finance system to your EC payroll system. Okay. So why this integration is required, as I was mentioning, these are two different systems. So this one we have already covered. Like what other system we'll be covering in your HR system? You will be in your activities in HR system. We'll be configuring those waste types. You'll be doing symbolic account mapping. So this one also, it remains the same. This activity you will be doing in your EC payroll system. And but in your accounting system, if your accounting system is a different one, then you have to configure those activities in your accounting system as well, if it is S4 HANA and all. Okay, so all this detailed means there is a detailed documentation how to do if it is a two different system. Okay, so once you have access to EC payroll system in the future, okay, so all those detailed documentations are written in a particular node. Okay, so you have to go to the cross application component. Under cross application, because it is a cross application, right? You are connecting to a different system. Okay, so you have to go to human resources. Under human resources, there is something called HRSC, means human resources to accounting system. How these are connected to each other. So detailed documentation you can find it there. How these things are connected. Okay, so whenever this configuration comes, there are actually 13 different steps you have to follow. Okay, and these are actually little technical. You have to take help from, even I couldn't do it in my previous project. End-to-end thing I couldn't do. I took help from the integration consultant as well as the ABAPer or integration consultant, because there are certain technical configuration they have to set up, like this object method, what is the object name. These are actually SAP predefined, still you have to verify how to configure these things. Okay, there are certain configuration you have to do in the HR system, certain configuration you have to do in the accounting system. Okay, you can take help from ABAP. Okay, otherwise once you're confident, after 1 year or 6 months to 1 year, you can do it of yourself. But I will suggest this configuration you keep it with your ABAP, take help from our ABAP consultant, or as an integration consultant you can take help from them how to configure this RFC. But you should understand what is the process. Okay, what are the things whenever you are setting up the system, what are the things happens inside. Okay, so that I will explain now. There are actually 13 steps to configure it, so I will come to those 13 steps now. What are those 13 different steps we follow? I will explain that. Because from my previous project experience, I knew only out of 13 I knew 10 steps, but for 3 steps actually I took help from ABAPer, which I was very new in my last project. Okay, so those I took help from ABAPer, integration consultant. So those 13 steps looks like this. I will tell you. Okay, so these are different 13 steps we generally configure. Like first you have to log into the sender system. So in this case, your sender system will be your HR system. Okay, so in this example I have given C11, means that is my client name. It will vary from client to client. So there is a transaction code called SALE. Okay, so that transaction code you have to go, and there are some certain, they're all technical configuration, like basic settings you have to configure. You have to define a logical system. Okay, after logical system is configured, you have to follow a typical naming convention like this: your system name, then your client CLNT, then the client instance, whether it is 100 client or 200 client. This is a typical naming convention system will understand. It is recommended. Okay, so once you make the connection between these two systems, in my case, I have connected to my EC payroll system to the S4 HANA. Okay, so suppose if it is a S4 HANA development system, I have made it S4D. If it is a production system, it would have been S4P. Okay, so this is a typical naming convention we follow to better understand it. Okay, so once you make these connections, I will tell you what are the things you can be doing at a high level. But these things will be configured by your payroll, your ABAPer or integration consultant. Okay, so we connect. So for this logical connection to be built in EC payroll, so wherever you is seeing there is a symbol ECP, that means you have to configure this inside your EC payroll system. Okay, so in EC payroll, you have to configure partner profile. What is a partner profile? So similarly, as we have discussed, a symbolic account, which is a connectivity between finance and HR. So similarly, we have to create a partner profile, which is required to connectivity between these two systems. Means one system is in your ECP, another is the finance system. So this is the way you have to go to this transaction, and you have to create a partner profile. Once you create this partner profile, so there are certain configurations, like there are different types of partner profile. For us, we define it under partner type LS. LS means logical system. Okay, so you can see there are different types of partner profile: logical system or vendor. It can be business partner. Business partner we use for a CRM system. Okay, or if it is a banking or all this type varieties will be there. But you have to choose the logical system. Once you're choosing the logical system, okay, so there are again certain partner profile detail configuration, how to configure those IDOC, intermediate document. Okay, so that you can take help from, as I was mentioning, to ABAPer. Okay, so there is a port. They have to configure this port, payroll posting from EC payroll to S4 HANA. Okay, so once those posts have been configured after defining this logical system and all, then you have to go to a transaction code called BD54. So this is again a technical transaction code. So where exactly you can see which is my sender system, which is my receiver system. Okay, that we define it here. Okay, and so this is a typical system we're looking like. So in the S4 HANA also you have to go and run that same transaction, because for S4 HANA the receiver will be S4 HANA, the sender will be your EC payroll. The same thing we have to configure in your S4 HANA system as well. This logical system. Okay, these are all technical, but you have to define all those systems. Okay, so then once it is done, you have to go to a particular table, that is your T000. Okay, so you have to define those recording on changes. There are some client related objects, which object to be changed. Okay, all this configuration will be doing. Then next step is you're creating a distribution model. Okay, so this is again a technical configuration. So how your waste type, whatever you have configured, all those data you have configured, okay, so how those will be moving from one system to another system. Okay, so here I have defined, so development system, my client system, that is my source system or sender system. My receiving system is S4HANA, S4HANA development system. Okay, this is my receiving system, and from that, as we are dealing with the account GL posting, I have chosen this account GL posting, this configuration only. Okay, so in this scenario, I have to choose that particular display distribution model. Once I have configured that, then I have to administrate all the IDOC, whatever the admin IDOC, whether it is successful, whatever this is the intermediate document between your EC payroll S4HANA, how those will be connected to each other.